Good afternoon. I'm Amanda Jarrett. Let's get right to it. The freezing rain is making this a common sight around West Michigan. Glare, ice, roads, and lots of crashes. Look at that. And guess what? It's still coming down, coating just about everything from Kalamazoo to Muskegon. You can see there on the radar. Storm Team 8 meteorologist Matt Kirkwood is staked out in the 24-hour tracking center, keeping an eye on this. Matt, you said it was going to be an all-day event. Here we are. When are we going to see some relief?
Yeah, I think we're still going to have to wait a little while before that relief arrives here in West Michigan. So far, the Granville area, Grand Rapids area over towards Holland, we've received about 1,500 to 2/10 of an inch of freezing rain, and most of that has been setting up just north of I-94, although the freezing temperatures have dipped to right around I-94. So anywhere north of I-94, this is where we'll continue with the problems out there. I'm going to expand the view a little bit here. Let's try to find that back edge of precipitation. And it's moving at a clip about 40 miles an hour all the way back around the Peoria area. Well, we have a ways to go, arriving towards the lakeshore, extreme southwest lower Michigan around 4:40 this afternoon. The Kalamazoo area at the earliest, right around 6 o'clock. And I think in the Grand Rapids location, it's going to be even after 6 o'clock. This is what's on the radar now. Still, we could see more develop as a weak area of low pressure moves up from central Illinois. This is what we've been watching all afternoon. Not only the radar, but temperatures. 32 degrees. We've been sitting there all day and all morning, and of course that's at the freezing mark. Fortunately, Kalamazoo, you're still above it at 34 degrees. It's close to 40 right along the Michigan-Indiana state line. That's why the National Weather Service has the winter weather advisory just north of I-94, Allegan, Berry, Eaton counties, and to the north right until 7 o'clock this evening. And this is how we'll break it down for you this afternoon. We'll continue with that freezing rain, again mostly north of I-94. It will gradually come to an end this evening, mostly rain from I-94 and to the south. Now, this isn't the only storm system. We have another one heading our way that could bring even heavier amounts of winter precipitation. I'll have more on that coming up later.
Thanks, Matt. Well, you can see traffic is moving smoothly right now along US 131 and I-196, but that's not the case for a lot of those side streets, both in the cities and out in the country roads. Many roads are just ice skating rinks right now. Let's go live now to 24-hour News 8's Joe LaFurgey, who's on the side streets right now. Joe, what are you seeing?
Yeah, Amanda, we're usually, as you said, we'd be coming to you on one of the expressways, one of the main arteries, showing you the conditions there. But this storm's a little different, brought on a little different sort of challenges. We're actually in the city of Grand Rapids on some of the side streets. And just to give you an idea, we're on the northeast side, basically between Michigan and Fulton, near between Eastern and Diamond, that area, that general vicinity. And you can see it is slippery up here. These side streets are just a mess. Here's the problem. The road crews have done a really good job getting the main arteries open. Now, we're just coming up on Michigan Street, and what a difference you'll see once we pull out onto Michigan from Eastern Avenue. Things pick up, traffic moves pretty good for this kind of weather. But when you get onto these side streets where they haven't hit them yet, then it gets icy. And you're seeing all kinds of problems with people stopping, parked cars along the side, especially in the city, getting slid into. If you hit a hill on one of these streets, you're in real trouble because it is icy. The road crews, again, have gotten to these main arteries. They're keeping them open. They're keeping up with them. But it seems like every time they get to the point where they've got a good coat of salt on them and melt some of the ice, then the temperatures start to drop off. They start to ice up again, so they have to hit them again. So when they get into the local neighborhoods, they don't spend much time on them. And obviously, they want to concentrate on the heavier traveled roads. So if you are in the area, if you're in any of these side streets, if you're out in the country, which is the same sort of deal, if you don't have to go out, don't. Just let it be known that those main arteries, they're going to be okay. Got to watch them still, but if you're going to get off on one of these side streets, you're going to be in trouble. Avoid some of the streets with the hills, because that's the one thing we seem to have the most problem with as we drive around, is getting up the hills. And any of the accidents we've seen so far, they've been mostly slide-offs, and that's where people run into problems. They don't realize just how icy these hills are, especially if they're not exactly familiar with the street, and they start to slide. So just be really careful out there, and keep in mind this is different than most storms that we've encountered over the past month or so. Back to you.
Thank you, Joe, for that report from the road. Stay safe out there. The ice has been causing problems on the roads all morning long. We were at this one crash involving a Grand Rapids police cruiser. It happened at Logan and Prospect Southeast. We're told it was just a fender bender. There were multiple cars involved, as you can see, but nobody was hurt. And as the crash cleared, a salt truck pulled up to the scene to make sure that icy stretch of road was salted and the ice gets a chance to melt. It also slid, had to get itself out of the jam as well. Here's what it looked like near Fairbanks and Hastings during daybreak. Cars that tried to turn the corner there kept fishtailing and sliding on the slick roads. A real mess this morning. Salt trucks and drivers have been hard at work all morning long. Kent County Road Commission trucks have been getting loaded up with all that salt and sand mix at the salt pile in Grand Rapids for crews to head out and treat the icy roads. And all of the effort the Road Commission is putting into salting the streets has forced the city to stop trash and recycling services for the rest of the day. That's because the city has taken the truck drivers and moved them into salt trucks to try and improve roads and conditions in your area. City officials say things will get back to normal tomorrow. Again, trash and recycling will be picked up tomorrow. It's not just Grand Rapids seeing the ice today. The Lake Shore is dealing with it too. The icy roads caused some problems at a Holland hotel this morning. A guest at America's Best Value Inn near Waverly Road called us this morning and said a car had crashed into the building. Police tell us it happened after two vehicles crashed in the parking lot and one slid into the building. The guest said a female guest was sleeping and was knocked out of her bed because of the impact. The caller says the woman was taken to the hospital. Her injuries are not known. It's not just the roads that are slick today. Make sure you're being careful when you're walking on your driveways and those sidewalks. They are ice covered. We've been on the phone with a number of Grand Rapids area hospitals. They tell us about half of the patients they've seen come into the ER this morning have been people slipping and falling. I saw a couple myself earlier this morning, a real mess. If you're planning to fly today, make sure you check the status of your flight before you head to the airport. At least 6 flights out of Ford Airport have been canceled today, and a handful have already been delayed. You can find a link to the Ford Airport's real-time flight information page on our website, woodtv.com. And on a light note in all this tense weather, the city of Holland tweeted out that all of its skating rinks are closed. The irony that skating rinks would be closed on a day when everything was caused by ice wasn't lost on us. But the city sent out a follow-up tweet that said it was because warmer weather lately and the ice on the rinks may not be solid. Got to stick to the sidewalks, I guess. Storm Team 8 is going to be keeping a close eye on the radar all day long. Be sure to tune in to 24-hour News 8 at 5 and 6 for the very latest on your forecast. And we know the icy conditions could have a big impact on your drive home tonight. And we're going to be watching the roads very closely. We'll have live traffic reports for you tonight starting at 5. And remember, you can take Storm Team 8 and 24-hour News 8 with you wherever you go on your mobile app if you're heading out of town. You can check the radar, get your full 8-day forecast, and take a minute to look up the traffic updates. The 24-hour News 8 app is available for both Apple and Android phones and tablets.